Hey guys, today is May the 19th, 2021 at 11:06 p.m. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let me go ahead and put record on my phone as well while we go over this Sabbath lesson. So I got my phone right here. So on the Sabbath, y'all will get this information. So I want to say I thank you for the ones that have been patient with me and allowing me to bring forth when I can to the audience or viewers. I hope that this will greet y'all and y'all have an open mind and heart toward the words that I'm going to say. I think this is going to be a great presentation, and this will be the presentation 12. We're on the unfolding of chapter 30, as I stated. So I got a few things in the back. A new setting for this week. It's pretty cool. So y'all that don't know, just this is what they do. So just in case y'all couldn't see that. Anyway. And so let's get started, guys. Alright, so a little bit of world knowledge first before I get into a little bit of world knowledge first. We're gonna go over what are the oldest languages in the world still widely spoken today. And as I told y'all, today is May 19, 2021 on their Gregorian calendar. And I'll be posting this for this Sabbath. If the Most I say the same, they allow it go through or anything like that, y'all can view it on the Sabbath on YouTube and Facebook. Alright, so there are 7,097 supposedly. Hold on one second, guys. My computer is like, I want to act up just a little bit, but that's okay. I just cut it back on, but I'm going to just, hold on one second. We'll get these out the way for us. I'm doing it on YouTube too right now, so my daughter's finally able to go to sleep, and so it helped me a lot. I hope you kids are doing well too and keeping your parents busy. I want y'all know I love y'all, and I hope that I'll be able to do some nice things for the kids soon. So just gonna be here anyway. Okay. Alright, so there are 7,097 living languages in the world today. Out of these, a third are now endangered. And out of these third, many have less than 1,000 speakers remaining. But what is the oldest of them? What are the oldest languages in the world? How did the first words our ancestors spoke sound like? Languages have always been fascinating because of the role they played as one of the pillars of civilization on Earth. Imagine a world where beings don't communicate. How does that world look like? It's unimaginable. Languages have shaped humanity for ages and continue to do so even today. They are fluid and is a continuous evolution, but their timeless metamorphoses make it hard for historians and logistics to determine what are the oldest languages in the world. We only know what history tells us, and history says spoken languages appeared 10,000 years ago. But we can never know for sure because no one was there to confirm. So there is only one way to judge the age of a language, by the earliest proof of its written form. However, this still remains guesswork, as it always possible that archaeologists may discover something new tomorrow, something that could change history as we know it. Furthermore, these languages were surely in use long before they were written in stone or in a papyrus. But for how long? It remains a mystery. What is the oldest dead language in the world? Or better said, the oldest extinct language, as an extinct language is a language that no longer has any speakers. A dead language, on the other hand, is one that is no longer the native language of any community, even if it is still in use, like Latin. The archaeological proof we have today allows us to state that the oldest dead language in the world is the Sumerian language. Dating back to at least 3,500 BC, the oldest proof of the written Sumerian was found in today's Iraq on an artifact known as the Kish tablet. Thus, given this evidence, Sumerian can also be considered the first language in the world. Sumerian was gradually replaced by the Akkadian as a spoken language around 2000 BC, but it continued to be used as a literary, ceremonial, scientific, and a scarce or sacred language until the 1st century AD. Unknown to the modern world until the 19th century, when Syriologists began deciphering its cuneiform inscriptions. Written Sumerian can be divided into several time periods. Okay, Archaic Sumerian, which is 31 through 26th century BC. Old or Classical Sumerian, which is 26 through 23 century BC. Neo-Samaritan, which is 23rd through 21st century BC. Late Sumerian, 20th through 18th century BC. And Post-Sumerian after 1700 BC. Other very old languages that are now extinct are the Hurrian. Oldest proof of written Hurrian dates back to the 21st century BC. The Paleolithic, which is attested in the cuneiform tablets in Bronze Age Hattusa, Sarko, the 16th century BC. Egyptian, its earlier known complete written sentences has been dated to back or about 2690 BC. Akkadian, first attested text from around the mid-3rd millennium BC. Okay, millennium BC. Alemanite, the earliest Alemanite writings use a pictographic script and date from the middle of the 3rd millennium BC. The Hittite, the oldest known text in the Hittite language, was written by Anita, a king that reigned in the 17th century BC. Alright, so Mycenaean Greek, the most ancient attested form of the Greek language, with the earliest writings dating back to 1450 BC. 10 oldest living languages in the world. The same as everything else in the world, languages have a life cycle. They are born, then grow, sometimes mutate, and eventually die. Still, there are languages on the earth that have been on people's lips for thousands of years and continue to exist to this day. Here are some of the oldest languages in the world still spoken. The Sanskrit, which is 3,500 years old, has 5 million speakers. Greek, which is 3,400 years old, has 13 million speakers. The Coptic Egyptian, current number of speakers unknown. Hebrew, which is 3,000 years old, 9.3 million. Chinese, current number of speakers 1.3 billion. The Aramaic, which is 3,100 years, which is 2 million speakers. Arab, which is 2,800 years, 335 million. And the Farsi, which is 65 million. So this was only just of the latest, the oldest. They ain't say which one's the top speaker in the whole world, but basically these are the oldest. And then we have Irish, which is 1,500 years, and we have 1.2 speakers. So thank you. I don't know which one. Was it Kobe or John Allen? I don't know which one of y'all. I didn't really have a name. Thought I had put a name on it. But anyway, put a name on it. And Tamil, which is 83 million, which is the Indians, Indian over there speech. Okay. So I hope that was cleared that up. A little world knowledge. Thank y'all for that article. It didn't really say on the back who did it, but some comments. Alright, so the resuming of the gospel of truth. We're on page 35, 36, and 37. So I told y'all I was going to finish it on this Sabbath, and then I'll do the introduction to the Nag Hammadi Library page. So you see me out, and it goes along with my shy learning segment. If you ever checked out lesson 3, breaking down of some of the syllables and different things as we read and go through the knowledge. So that was pretty interesting. I hope y'all already checked that out. And so it always correspond with my Sabbath or whatever I got working on, you know, for the next week. Okay. So what you have vomit to eat it. Do not be moths, do not be worms, for you have already cast it off. Do not become a dwelling place for the devil, for you have already destroyed him. Do not strengthen those who are obstacles to you, who are collapsing as though you were a support for them. For the lawless one is someone to treat ill, rather than the just one. For the former does his work as a lawless person, the later as the righteous person does his work among others. So you do the will of your Father, for you are from him. For the Father is sweet, and in his will is what is good. He has taken cognizance of the things that are yours, that you might find rest in them. For by the fruits does one take cognizance of the things that are yours, because the children of the Father are his fragrance, for they are from the grace of his contentance. For this reason, the Father loves his fragrance and manifests it in every place. And if it misses with the matter, it gives his fragrance to the light, and in his repose it caused it to surpass every form and every sound. For it is not the what that mean? All right, so I'm sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna text my phone at the same time. Okay, cool. Sorry. Okay, so where was it? Okay, and surpass every form and every sound. For it is not the ears that smell the fragrance, but it is the breath that has the sense of smell and attracts the fragrance to itself, and is submerged in the fragrance of the Father, so that he thus okay. I guess it only go to certain lengths. What is the problem here? Sorry guys, I have it on my phone too. So, alright, so I'm at again. Spirit need to go away, trying to get me off my track now. Alright, so for it is not the ears that smell the fragrance, but it is the breath that has the sense of smell and attracts the fragrance to itself, and is submerged in the fragrance of the Father, so that he thus shelter it, and takes it to the place where it came from the first fragrance, which is crowned or grown cold. It is something in a psycho form, being like cold waters which has frozen, which is on earth that is not solid, of which those who see it think it is earth. Think it is earth. Afterwards, it dissolves. It dissolves again. If a breath draws it, it gets hot. The fragrance, therefore, that are cold are from the division. For this reason faith came. It dissolves the division, and it brought the warm pleroma of love, in order that the cold should not come again, but that there should be the unity of perfect thought. This is the word of the gospel of the discovery of the pleroma, for those who awaits the salvation which is coming from on high, while their hope for which they are waiting is in waiting. They whose image is light with no shadow in it, then at that time the pleroma is proceeding to come. The deficiency of the matter came to be, not through the limitlessness of the Father, who is coming to give time for the deficiency, although no one could say that the incorruptible one would come in this way. But the depth of the Father was multiplied, and the thought of error did not exist with him. It is a thing that falls, and is a thing that easily stands upright again. And the discovery of him who has come to him, whom he shall bring back. For the bringing back is called repentance. For this reason incorruptibility breathed forth. It pursued the one who had sinned, in order that he might rest. For forgiveness is what remains for the light in the deficiencies. Is what he provided for himself, for filling up that or what he lacks, in order that therefore he might receive the grace. For when he was deficient, he did not have the grace. This is why there's a dimension existing in a place where there is no grace. When that which was diminished was received, he revealed that he lacked, being now a pleroma. That is the discovery of the light of truth, which rose upon him because it is immutable. Okay? I'm just going to cut that off because it's no sense. My phone keeps doing that. This is why Christ was spoken of in their midst, so that those who were disturbed might receive a bringing back. Let's turn my phone on. And he might anoint them with the ointment. This ointment is the mercy of the Father, who will have mercy on them. But those whom he has anointed are the ones who have become perfect. For full jars are the ones that are usually anointed. But when the anointing of the one jar is dissolved, it is empty. And the reason for there being a deficiency is the thing by which its anointment goes. For at that time a breath draws it, a thing in the power of that which is with it. But from him who has no deficiency, no seal is removed, nor is anything empty, but what he lacks, the perfect Father will fill again. He is good, he knows his planting, because it is he who planted them in his paradise. Now his paradise is his place of rest. This is the perfection in the thought of the Father, and these are the words of his meditation. Each one of his words is the work of his one will in the revelation of his word. While they were still depths of his thought, the word, which was first to come forth, revealed them, along with a mind that speaks to one word in silence grace. He was called thought, since they were in it before being revealed. It came about then that he was first to come forth at that time, or the time when the will of him who willed desired it, and the will is what the Father rests in, and is pleased with. Nothing happens without him, nor does anything happen without the will of the Father. But his will is unsearchable. His trace is the will, and no one will know him, nor it is possible for one to scrutinize him in order to grasp him. But when he wills, what he wills is this, even if the sight does not bless or please them in any way before God, desiring the Father, for he knows the beginning of all of them and their end, for at their end he will question them directly. Now the end is receiving knowledge about the one who is hidden, and this is the Father from whom the beginning came forth, and to whom all will return who have come from him, and they have appeared for the glory and the joy of his name. Now the name of the Father is the Son. It is he who first gave a name to the one who came forth from him, who was himself, and he begot him a son. He gave him his name which belonged to him. He is the one to whom belongs all that exists around him, the Father. His is the name. His is the Son. It is possible for him to be seen. The name, however, is invincible, because it is alone is the mystery of the invincible one, which comes to the ears that are completely filled with it by him. For indeed the Father name is not spoken, but rather it is apparent through a Son. Okay, get it? Oh, I hate these things popped up. Anyway, so in this way then, the name is a great thing. Who therefore will be able to utter a name for him? The great name, except him alone to whom the name belongs, and the Son of the name, in whom rested in the name of the Father, who has turned themselves rested in his name. Since the Father is unengendered, he alone is the one who begot him for himself as a name, before he brought forth the icons, in order that the name of the Father should be over their head as Lord, and that is the name in truth, which is firm in his command, through perfect power. For the name is not from mere words, nor does his name consist of appellations, but rather it is invincible. He gave a name to him alone, since he alone sees him. He alone having the power to give him a name, for he who does not exist has no name. For what name is given to him who does not exist? But the one who exists also with his name, and he alone knows it, and he alone knows how to give him a name. It is the Father. The Son is his name. He did not therefore hide it in the thing, but it existed. As for the Son, he alone gave a name. The name therefore is that of the Father, as the name of the Father is the Son. Where indeed would compassion find a name except with the Father? But no doubt one will say to his neighbor, who is it who will give a name to him who existed before himself? As if offspring did not receive a name from those who begot them. First then, it is fitting for us to reflect on this matter. What is the name? Is it the name of truth? In truth, is it not therefore the name from the Father? For it is the one which is the proper name. Therefore he did not receive the name on loan, as do others, according to the form in which each one is to be produced. But this is the proper name. There is no one else who gave it to him, but he, unnameable, indescribable, until the time when he who is perfect spoke of him alone. And it is he who has the power to speak his name and to see it. Okay. When therefore it pleased him that his name, which is love, should be his son, and he gave the name to him that is him who came forth from the depth, he spoke about his secret things, knowing that the Father is a being without evil. For that very reason he brought him forth, in order to speak about the place and about his resting place from which he had came forth, and the glorious, the parema, the greatness of his name, and the sweetness of the Father. About the place each one came from, he will speak. And to the region where he received his establishment, he will hasten to return again, and to take from the place where he stood, receiving a taste from that place, and receiving nourishment, receiving growth, and his own resting place is his polema. Therefore all the imaginations of the Father are polympus, or polympers, and the root of all his imaginations is in the one who made them all grow up in himself. He assigned them their destinies. Each one then is manifest in order that through their own thought, for the place to which they send their thought, that place, their root, is what takes them up in all heights to the Father. They possess his head, which is rest for them, and they are supported, approaching him as though to say that they have participated in his face by means of kissing. But they do not become manifest in this way, for they are not themselves exalted. Yet neither did they lack the glory of the Father, nor did they think of him as small, nor that he is harsh, nor that he is wrathful, but rather that he is a being without evil, imperturbable, sweet, knowing all spaces before they have came into existence, and he had no need to be instructed. This is the matter of those who possess something from a bud of the immensurable greatness, as they wait for the one alone and the perfect one, the one who is there for them. And they do not go down to Hades, nor have they envy, nor groaning, nor death within them, but rather they rest in him who is at rest, not striving nor being twisted around the truth, but they themselves are the truth, and the Father is within them. And they are in the Father, being perfect, being undivided in the truly good one, being in no way deficient in anything, but they are set to rest, refreshed in the Spirit. And they will heed their root. They will be concerned with those things in which he will find his root, and not suffer loss to his soul. This is the place of the blessed. This is their place. For the rest, then may they know in their places that is not fitting for me, having come to be in the resting place, to speak of anything else, but it is in it that shall come to be, and it's fitting to be concerned at all times with the Father of all, and the true brothers, those upon whom the love of the Father is poured out, in whose midst there is no lack of him. They are the ones who appeared in truth, since they exist in truth and eternal life, and since they speak of the life which is perfect, and which is filled with the seed of the Father, and which is in his heart and in the parema, while his Spirit rejoices in it, and glorifies the one in whom it existed, because he is good, and his children are perfect and worthy of his name. For he is the Father, and it is children of this kind he loves. Okay? Alright, guys. So that was the finishing of Gospel Truth. Next week I'll be starting on the Gospel of James. Maybe change my mind and start another one, but right now I'll tell y'all. Yeah, it'll be the Gospel of James. I already got that working up. Or maybe the Gospel of Paul, who knows. But I already got printed up what I'm gonna go for next week, guys. So alright, so the Nag Hammadi Library, the introduction for the Gnostic Gospels by Ellen Pagels. In December 1945, an Arab peasant made an astonishing archaeological discovery in Upper Egypt. Rumors obscured the circumstances of this find, perhaps because the discovery was accidental and it sold on the black market illegal. For years, even the identity of the discoverer remained unknown. One rumor held that he was a blood avenger, another that he had made the find near the town of Naij Hadamatic at the Jebel al-Taref, a mountain honeycombed with more than 150 caves. Originally natural, some of these caves were cut and painted and used as grave sites as early as the 6th dynasty, some 4,300 years ago. 30 years later, the discoverer himself, Muhammad al-Afsami, told what happened shortly before he and his brothers avenged their father's murder in the blood furor. They had saddled their camels and gone out to the Jebel to dig for Shabaki, a soft soil they used to fertilize their crops. Digging around a massive border, they hit a red earthen jar, almost a meter high. Muhammad al-Afli hesitated to break the jar, considering that a jinn or spirit may live inside. But realizing that it may also contain gold, he raised his mattock, smashed the jar, and discovered inside 13 papyrus books, bound in leather. Returning to his home in Al-Qashir, Muhammad dumped the books and loose the papyrus leaves on the straw pile on the ground next to the oven. Muhammad's mother, Ahmed, admits that she burned much of the PROPBALY in the oven along with the scroll she used to kindle the fire. A few weeks later, as Muhammad Afli tells it, he and his brothers avenged their father's death by murdering Ahmed Hashmishyal. Their mother had warned her sons to keep their mattocks sharp when they learned that their father's enemy was nearby. The brothers seized the opportunity, hacked off his limbs, ripped out his heart, and devoured it among them as the ultimate act of blood revenge. Fearing that the police investigating the murder would search his house and discover the books, Muhammad Ali asked the Prince al-Camelios or Basileus Adbed al-Messiah to keep one or more for him. During the time that Muhammad Ali and his brothers were being interrogated for murder, Raghib, a local history teacher, had seen one of the books and suspected that it had value. Having received one from Al-Qawadi's Basileus, Raghib sent it to a friend in, Chera to find out its worth. Sold on the black market through antiquities dealers in the Chera, the manuscript soon attached the attentions of officials of the Egyptian government. Through circumstances of high drama, as we shall see, they brought one and confiscated 10 and a half of the 13 letter-bound books called codexes, and deposit them in the Carthage Museum in Chera. But a large part of the 13 codex, containing 5 extraordinary texts, was smuggled out of Egypt and offered for sale in America. Word of this codex soon reached Professor Gilles Corchpel, distinguished historian of religion at the Utrecht in the Netherlands. Excited by the discovery, Corchpel urged the Tron Foundation in Zurich to buy the codex, but discovering when he succeeded that some passages were missing, he fled to Egyptian in the spring of 1955 to try to find them in the Coptic Museum. Arriving in Cairo, he went at once to the Coptic Museum, borrowed photographs of some of the texts, and hurried back to his hotel to decipher them. Tracing out the first line, Quishpel was startled then, incredibly, to read, "These are the secret words which the living Jesus spoke, and which the twin Judas Thomas wrote down." Quishpel knew that his colleagues H.C. Pinch, using notes from another French scholar, Jean Derich, had identified the opening lines with the fragments of a Greek Gospel of Thomas discovered in the 1890s. But the discovery of the whole text raised new questions. Did Jesus have a twin brother as this text applies? Could the text be an authentic record of Jesus' saying? According to its title, it contained the gospel according to Thomas. Yet, unlike the Gospels of the New Testament, this text identified itself as a secret gospel. Quishpel also discovered that it contained many sayings known from the New Testament, but these sayings placed in unfamiliar contexts suggested other dimensions of meaning. Other passages Quishpel found different entirely from any known Christian tradition. The living Jesus, for example, speaks in sayings as cryptic and compelling as Zing Kayams. Jesus said, "If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you." What Quishpel had in his hand, the Gospel of Thomas, was one of the 52 texts discovered at Nag Hammadi, the usual English translation of the town's name. Bound into the same volume with it is the Gospel of Philip, which attributes to Jesus acts and sayings quite different from those in the New Testament. The companion of the Savior is Mary Magdalene, but Christ loved her more than all the disciples and used to kiss her often on her mouth. The rest of the disciples were offended. They said to him, "Why do you love her more than all of us?" The Savior answered and said to them, "Why do I not love you as I love her?" Other sayings in this collection criticize common Christian beliefs, such as the virgin birth or the bodily resurrection, as naive misunderstandings. Bound together with these Gospels is the Apocalypse, literally secret book of John, which opens with an offer to reveal the mysteries and the things hidden in silence, which Jesus taught to his disciples, John. Muhammad Ali later admitted that some of the texts were lost, burned up, or thrown away, but what remains is astonishing. Some 52 texts from the early centuries of the Christian era included a collection of early Christian Gospels presently unknown. Besides the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Philip, the find included the Gospel of Truth and the Gospel to the Egyptians, which identifies itself as the sacred book of the great invisible spirit. Another group of texts consists of writings attributed to Jesus' followers, such as the secret book of James, the Apocalypse of Paul, the letter of Peter to Philip, and the Apocalypse of Peter. What Muhammad Ali discovered at Nag Hammadi, it soon became clear, were Coptic translation made about 1,500 years ago of still more ancient manuscripts. The original themselves had been written in Greek, the language of the New Testament, as Doris Piss and the Quishpel had recognized. Part of one of them had been discovered by archaeologists about 50 years earlier, when they found a new fragment of the original Greek version of the Gospel of Thomas. Okay, now y'all see what I mean. About the dating of the manuscripts themselves, there is little debate. Examination of the debatable parentheses used to thicken the leather bindings and of Coptic script placed them AD 35, we'll say 350 to 400. But scholars sharply disagree about the dating of the original text. Some of them can hardly be later than AD 120 through 150. Since the Iranians, the Orthodox Bishop of Lyons, writing c. 180, declares that heretics boast that they possess more gospels than there really are, and complains that in this time or his time such writings already had won wide circulation from Gaul through Rome, Greece, and Asia Minor. Quispel and his collaborators who first published the Gospel of Thomas suggested the date AD of 140 for the original. Some reason that since these Gospels were heretical, they must have been written later than the Gospels of the New Testament, which are dated to be 60 through 110. But recently, Professor Helmut Kosher of Harvard University has suggested that the collection of sayings in the Gospel of Thomas, although compelled 140, may include some traditions even older than the Gospels of the New Testament, possibly as early as the second half of the first century, 50 through 100, as early as or earlier than Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. Scholars investigating the Nag Hammadi discovered that some of the texts tell the origin of the human race in terms very different from the usual reading of Genesis. The Testimony of Truth, for example, tells the story of Garden of Eden from the viewpoint of the serpent. Here's the serpent, long known to appear in the Gnostics literature as the principle of divine wisdom, convinces Adam and Eve to partake of knowledge, while the Lord threatens them with death, trying jealously to prevent them from attaining knowledge and expelling them from the paradise when they achieved it. At the text mysteriously entitled The Thunder Perfect Mind offers an extraordinary poem spoken in the voice of a feminine divine power. For I am the first and the last, I am the honored one and the scorned one. I am the whore and the holy one. I am the wife and the virgin. I am the barren one, and many are her sons. I am the silence that is incomprehensible or comprehensible. I am the utterance of my name. These diverse texts range then from secret gospels, poems, and kwashi, and psycho or I would say philosophic descriptions of the origin of the universe to myth, magic, and instruction for magical practice. Why were these texts buried, and why have they remained virtually unknown for nearly 2,000 years? Their suppression as banned documents and their burial on the cliff at Nag Hammadi, it turns out, were both part of a struggle critical for the formation of early Christianity. The Nag Hammadi texts and others like them, which circulated at the beginning of Christian era, was denounced as heresies by the Orthodox Christians in the middle of 7th century. We have long known that many earlier followers of Christ were condemned by other Christians as heretics, but nearly all we know about them came from what their opponents wrote attacking them. Bishop Irenaeus, who supervised in the church in Lyons, wrote 5 volumes entitled to The Destruction and Overthrow of Falsely So-Called Knowledge, which began with his promise to set forth the view of those who are now teaching heresy, to show how absurd and inconsistent with the truth are their statements. I do this so that you may urge all those with whom you are connected to avoid such an abyss of madness and of blaspheming against Christ. He denounces as especially full of blasphemy a famous gospel called the Gospel of Truth. Is the Iranians referring to the same gospel of truth discovered at Nag Hammadi, Quishpel and his collaborators who first published the Gospel of Truth argue that he is one of their critics maintains that the opening line which begins the Gospel of Truth is not a title. But Armenians does use the same source as at least one of the texts discovered at Nag Hammadi, the Apocryphon, secret book of John, as an ammunition for his own attack on such heresy. 50 years later, the Hippopotamus, a teacher in Rome, wrote another massive refutation of all heresies to expose and refute the wicked blasphemy of the heretics. All right. So I'm going to take a break. I'm at 45 minutes, guys. I thank y'all for tuning in. If y'all want to, y'all can take a break. It's good to pause, get y'all some, fresh breather, whatever you decide. But I'm going to take me a break. I'm at 45 minutes. Like I said, I usually try to do at least 3 hours long because that's what they allow me on my recordings. So I always try to get close to that, to use all the full amount of time that I have to do it. So, and we'll get back on track soon. But right now, I'm just going to do that. Almost to 3 hours. And so I always used to stop at 2 hours and 50 minutes. So I don't try to keep y'all long. So when you get this, y'all be, watching it. So I just hope that this really greets y'all well. I don't know too much words to say in right words, but I hope y'all understand. Thank you all for the love, support, the ones speaking life. Forgive me as I forgive y'all. I hope that the kids are safe. I love them forever. Kids, be safe, be cautious of what you take in your ear, what you're eating. And so we can all, try to grow our health for right now or keep our stability in our minds and in our hearts and in our soul, okay? So I just really wanted y'all to know that and that I'm always here no matter what, okay? And so I'm going to just take a small break, like I said, and I'll be right back, and we'll jump into the Sabbath of unfolding of chapter 30. And I think this is going to be very enlightenment for you guys. So, be back. All right, resuming at 12:02 a.m. on the Gregorian calendar, May 20th of 2021. I'm trying to get all this stuff off my computer. Restart later. I restarted later. Thank you, finally. Okay, great. Alright, so I got a picture of my Earth Mom and my 2 relative sisters. This is no offense to y'all. I'm just using as an example a picture of my Earth family. So, my family, immediate, whatever y'all want to put titles on. Nice picture. I like it. It's pretty nice. But anyway, so I'm going to get on my, I love y'all. Forgive y'all. Hope it's no sense. Y'all took the picture, so it's nice. So the overview of Gnostics faith, and this is what I titled Job 29 and Job 30th chapter, Divine Wisdom Weekly Sabbath. Presentation 12, the unfolding chapter 30th, which is the Words of Agar. Okay, the words of Agar, the son of Jekiah, an oracle. This man says to Ethiel, or to Igthiel, and to Arthkel. Proverbs 31. Surely I am more brutish than any other human being, and I do not have human understanding. Proverbs 30:20. I have not learned wisdom, nor do I have knowledge of the Holy One. Proverbs 33. Chapter 33. Who has ascended into heaven and then descended? Who has gathered up the winds in his fist? Who has bound up the waters in his cloak? Who has established all the ends of the earth? What is his name, and what is his son's name? If you know. Proverbs 34. Every word of God is purified. He is like a shield for those who take refuge in him. Proverbs 35. Do not add to his words, lest he reprove you and prove you to be a liar. Proverbs 36. Two things I ask from you is, do not refuse me before I die. Proverbs 37. Remove falsehood and lies far from me. Do not give me poverty or riches. Feed me with my allotted portion of bread. Proverbs 38. Lest I become satisfied and act deceitfully and say, who is the Lord? Or lest I become poor and steal and demean the name of my God. Proverbs 39. Do not slander a servant to his master, lest he curse you and you are found guilty. Proverbs 30:10. There is a generation who curse their fathers and do not bless their mothers. Proverbs 30:11. There is a generation who are pure in their own eyes and yet are not washed from their filthiness. Proverbs 30:12. There is a generation whose eyes are so lofty and whose eyelids are lifted up disdainfully. Proverbs 30:13. There is a generation whose teeth are like swords, and whose molars are like knives, to devour the poor from the earth and the needy from among the human race. Proverbs 30:14. The leech has two daughters. Give. These are three things that are never satisfied, four that never say enough. Proverbs 30:15. The grave, the barren womb, land that is not satisfied with water, and the fire that never says enough. Proverbs 30:16. The eye that mocks at a father and despises obeying a mother. The ravens of the valley will pick it out, and the young vultures will eat it. Proverbs 30:17. There are three things that are too wonderful for me, four that I do not understand. Proverbs 30:18. The way of an eagle in the sky, the way of a snake on a rock, and the way of a man with a woman. Proverbs 30:19. This is the way of an adulterous woman. She eats and wipes her mouth and says, I have done no wrong. Proverbs 30:20. Under three things the earth trembles, and under four things it cannot bear up. Proverbs 30:21. Under a servant who becomes king, under a fool who staff with food. Proverbs 30:22. Under an unloved woman who is married, and under a female servant who despises her mistress, possesses her mistress. Proverbs 30:23. There are four things on earth that are small, but they are exceedingly wise. Proverbs 30:24, or exceedingly wise. Ants are creatures with little strength, but they prepare their food in the summer. Proverbs 30:25. Rock badgers are creatures with little power, but they make their homes in the grass. Proverbs 30:26. Locusts have no king, but they all go forward by ranks. Proverbs 30:27. A lizard you can catch with the hand, but it gets into the palaces of the king. Proverbs 30:28. There are three things that are magnified or magnificent in their step. Proverbs 30:29. Four things that move about magnificently. A lion, mightiest of the beasts, who does not retreat from anything. Proverbs 30:30. A straddling rooster, a male goat, and a king with his army around him. Proverbs 30:31. If you have done foolishly by exalting yourself, or if you have planned evil, put your hand over your mouth. Proverbs 30:32. For as the chumping of the milk produces butter, and as punching the nose produces blood, so stirring up anger produces strife. Proverbs 30:33. The construct knowledge. The next four verses all start with the Hebrew expression translated, there is a generation. This is a series of denotions of things that are dangerous in society without mentioning specific punishments or proscriptions. The word generation, as used in this passage, refers to a class or a group of people. The first observation is that there is a segment in society that lacks respect for parents. This uses the acronyms curse and not bless to make the point. To curse a parent could include treating them lightly, defaming them, or showing disrespect in general. To bless would mean to honor, respect, or enrich in some way, which what should be done. Exodus 21:17, Proverbs 20:20. The verb reketz means to wash away, to bath. It is used of physical washing, ceremonial washings, and hence, figuratively, of removing sin and guilt through confession. Isaiah 1:16. Here the form is the plural of, the Paul or Paul perfect, unless it is a rare old qual passive. Since there is no prowl or Paul and no parent change of meaning from the qual. The point of the verse is that there are people who observe outer rituals and think they are pure, or tahar is the Levitical standard for entrance into the sanctuary, but who pay no attention to the inner cleansings, which is Matthew 23, verse 27. Filthiness often refers to physical uncleanness, but here it refers to moral defilement. Zechariah 3:3-4. Use it metaphorically as well for the sin of the nation. Isaiah 36, verse 12. Hebrew high are its eyes. This is a use of the interrogative pronoun in exclamatory sentence. R.J. Williams, Hebrew sentence 25 and 127. Hebrew, its eyelids are lifted up, is a gesture indicating arrogance and contempt or disdain for others. To make this clear, the present translation supplies to the adverb disdainfully at the end of the verse. The verbs to be high translated are lofty, and to be lifted up depict arrogance and disdain from others. The emphasis of the eyes and eyelids is employed because the glance, the look, is the immediate evidence of content for others. Psalm 131, 1. Wisdom literature often groups things in 2 and 4 or in other numerological arrangement. Amos 1:3-2. Okay. Job 5:19. Proverbs 6:16-19. Assuming that the contents of the 7 through 9 are a prayer, several English versions have simplified or supplied a vocative phrase, O Lord, in the NIV, O God, in the NLT. Others have supplied a similar phrase without the vocative. The word kahal or kale or kakwe means statues. It is also used of a definite assignment in labor. Exodus 5:14, Proverbs 31:15, or of a set portion of food. Genesis 47:22. Here it refers to food that is proper portion for the speaker. Agar requested an honest life, not deceitfully, and a balanced life, not self-sufficient. The second request about his provision is clarified in verse 9. The verb kaklish means to be disappointing, to deceive, to fail, to grow lean. In the Creole stem it means to deceive, to act deceitfully. The ideal of acting deceitfully is illustrated in Hosea 9:2. where it has the condemnation of disowning or refusing to acknowledge, a meaning very close to its meaning here. The Hebrew word or verb literally means to take hold of, to seize. This produces the idea of doing violence to the reputation of God. There are two figures used in each of these lines: teeth, great teeth, and swords, knives. The term teeth is a metonym for the process of chewing and eating. This goes with the figure of the second half of the verse that speaks about devouring the poor. So the whole image of eating and chewing refers to destroying the poor, an applied comparison. The figures of swords and knives are metaphors with this image. Comparing teeth to swords mean that they are sharp and powerful. The imagery captures the rapacity of their power. The next two verses describe the insatiable things that are problematical to normal life. The meaning of 15a and its relationship to 15b is debated, but the leech seems to have been selected to begin the section because it was symbolic of greed. It sucks blood through its two suckers. This may be what the reference of the two daughters calling give might simplify. If so, this is an applied comparison, a figure known as hypocateus. As one might expect, there have been various attempts to identify the two daughters. In the rabbinic literature, some identify the Alakai, the leash, with Sheol, and the two daughters with paradise and hell. One claiming the righteous and the other the unrighteous. Others identify Akaluhai or Alukaya with Jehima, and the two daughters with heresy and government, neither of which is ever satisfied. Mirish Tiam, quoted by Rashi, a Jewish scholar who lived in 1040 through 1105 AD, and in the Talmud, B. Avada Zarai, which is 17a, and J.J. CLOAK suggested that what is in view is ironic passion and not a leech. With two suckers, the four insatiables, 1965, the two imperators, which is out, have, give from Yaakov, is as if the leech is crying out. There is a noticeable rhetoric, rhetorical sequence here. Two daughters, three things, four. Okay, and it was cited by W.M. Roth. The numerical sequence is X/X plus 1 in the Old Testament. 1962. The numerological sayings in the Old Testament. W. McCain thinks the series builds to a climax with the four, and in the four, the barren woman is the focal point, the other three being metaphors for her sexual desire. Proverbs 656. This interpretation is a minority view, however, has not won widespread support. Throughout the book of Proverbs, Han means wealth, but here it has the nuance of sufficiency or enough. The term Sheol refers here to the realm of the dead, the graven realm of the dead, the world of dead. Hebrew, the closing of the womb, a situation especially troubling for one who is consumed with a desire for children. Genesis 16:2 and Genesis 31. There is no clear lesson made from these observations. Okay? There is no clear lesson made from these observations, but one point that could be made is that the greed symbolized by the leech is as insatiable as all these other things. If that is the case, the proverb will constitute a warning against the insatiable nature of greed. The I, as the organ that exhibits the inner feelings, here represent a look of scorn or disdain that speaks volumes, a metaphor, of course, or an adjunct. It is comparable to the evil eye, which is stinginess, Sarah's way to Hagar, which the Hebrew word is laquaqua, obeying, occurs only here and in Genesis 49:10. So let's go to Genesis 49:10. Anyway, so I'll read the whole thing. I'm gonna read Genesis 49 8 through 13, and I had that highlighted too. I will divide them in Jacob and scatter them in Israel. Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thy enemies. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. Judah is a lion whelp from the prey. My son, thou art gone up. He stood down. He crunched as a lion, and as an old lion who shall arise him up. The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from the between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be, binding his foal into the vine, and his ass caught unto the choice vine. He washed his garments in wine, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for the haven of ships, and his border shall be unto the Zemon. Okay. Just gonna, and matter of fact, we'll go to Genesis. What did I just say? Genesis 16:2. That was really the one that's made me say about this Sarah 16:2. A corner plan for children. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarah said unto Abram, Behold, now the Lord has restrained me from bearing. I pray thee, go into your maid, or thy maid, and it may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened unto the voice of Sarah. Okay. All right. So it seems to mean to receive the instructions. So it's Genesis 49:10, just read that, and it seems to mean receive the instruction. The eye that mocks a father and despises an aged mother. 1941. This is followed by the NAIS, or scorns an aged mother. The sternest punishment is for the evil eye. The punishment is Tartanic, eye for eye. The reference to the valley may indicate a place where people are not given decent burials, and the birds of the prey pick the corpses clean. It is an image the prophets used in judgment passages. This last item in the series is the most difficult to understanding. The MT reads DEREKH, Garev, BALMAH, and the way of a man with a maid. So does the K James versions and the NASB. The last term does not end, and in of itself means version, but rather describes a young woman who is sexually ready or legal age for marriage. What is probably in view here is the wonder of human sexuality, for the proposal bath in this sequence indicates that the way of the man is with the woman. So meaning the way of a man is to be with the woman. This mystery may begin with the manner of attaining the love of the young woman, but focuses on the most intimate part of human relations. And all of this was amazing to the sage. All of it is part of God's creation plan and therefore can be enjoyed and appreciated with fully comprehending it. Equally amazing is the insensitivity of the adulterous woman to sin, meaning not recognizing their sin makes them that turn. The use of the word way is clearing connects this and the preceding material. Its presence here also supports the interpretation of the final clause in verse 19 as referring to sexual intimacy. While that is a wonder of God's creation, woman, so is the way that human nature has distorted it and can ruin it if done improperly. Okay. So our closing scriptures is going to be Isaiah 3, 9. I'm going to read that right quick. Well, I may didn't have to do the whole 3 hours. It's probably just a short one tonight. All right, so Isaiah 3, it's that 3:9, but I think I'm going to read 2, okay? I'm going to read 2. So Israel sinned of spiritual adultery. Plead with your mother, plead, for she is not my wife, neither am I her husband. Let her therefore put away her whoredoms out of her sight, and her adulteries from between her breasts, lest I strip her naked and set her as in the day that she was born, and make her as a wilderness, and set her like a dry land, and slay her with thirst. And I will not have mercy upon her children, for they be the children of whoredoms. For their mother had played the harlot, she that conceived them has done shamefully. For she said, I will go after my lovers that give me my bread, and my water, and my wool, and my flax, my oil, and my drink. Judgment of God. Therefore, behold, I would hedge up thy way with thorns, and make a wall that she shall not find her paths, and she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them, and she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return to my first husband, and then was it better with me than now. For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil, and had multiplied her silver and gold, which I prepared for Baal. Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. And now will I discover her tenderness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. I will also cause all her mirth to cease, her feast days, her new moons, her Sabbaths, and all her solemn feasts. And I will destroy her vines and her fig leaves, or fig trees, whereof she has said, there are my rewards that my lovers have given me. And I will make them a forest, and the breasts of the field shall eat them. And I will visit upon her the days of Balaam, wherein she burnt incense to them. And she decked herself with her urns and her jewelry, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, said the Lord. Restorations of Israel. Therefore, behold, I will allure her and bring her into the wilderness, and speak comfortably unto her. And I will give her her vineyard from thence in the valley of Orchel, for the the door of hope. And she shall sing there as in the days of her youth, and as in the day when she came up out of the land of Egypt. And it shall be that day, said the Lord, that thou shalt call me Ishai, and shalt call me no more Baal. For I will take away the names of Balaam out of her mouth, and they shall no more be remembered by their name. And in that day will I make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of the heaven, and with the creeping things of the ground. And I will break the bow and the sword and the battle out of the earth, and will make them to lie down safely. And I will betroth thee unto me forever. Yeah, I will betroth thee unto me in righteousness, and in judgment, and in loving kindness, and in mercies. I will even betroth thee unto me in faithfulness, and thou shalt know the Lord. And it shall come to pass in that day I will hear, said the Lord, and I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn, and the wine, and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, thou art my people, and they shall say, thou art my God. Okay. And Isaiah 22:12. I mean, I could read the whole thing. Why not? Okay. Prophecies against Jerusalem. Isaiah 22. The burden of the valley of vision. What ailed thee now, that thou art wholly gone up to the housetops? Thou that art full of steers, a tremendous city, a joyful city. Thou slain men are not slain with the sword, nor dead in battle. All thy rulers are fleed together. They are bound by the archers. All that are found in three are bound together, which have fled from far. Therefore said I, look away from me. I will weep bitterly, labor not to comfort me, because of the spoilings of the daughter of my people. For it is a day of trouble, and a treading down, and a perplexity by the Lord God of hosts, in the valley of vision, breaking down the walls, and of crying of the mountains. And Elam bare the quiver with the chariots of men and of horsemen, and Kir uncovered the shield. And it shall come to pass that thou choosest valleys shall be full of chariots, and the horsemen shall set their sails in array at the gate. And he discovered the covering of Judah, and thou didst look in that day to the armor of the house of the forest. Ye have seen also the breaches of the city of David, that thou are many, and ye gathered together the waters of the lower pool. And ye have numbered the houses of Jerusalem, and the houses have ye broken down to fortitude the wall. Well, ye made also a ditch between the two walls for the water of the old pool, but ye have not looked upon or unto the maker thereof, neither had respect unto him that fashioned it long ago. And in the day did the Lord God of hosts call to weeping, and to mourning, and to baldness, and to girdling with sackcloth. And behold, joy and gladness, slaying oxen and killing sheep, eating flesh and drinking wine. Let us eat and drink, for tomorrow we shall die. And it was revealed in my ears by the Lord of hosts, surely this iniquity shall not be purged from you till ye die, said the Lord God of hosts. Thus said the Lord God of hosts, go get thee unto this treasurer, even unto the Shabbanah or Shebna, which is over the house, and say, what hast thou here? And who hast thou here, that thou hast hid thee out of the scattered here? As he that heareth him out of the scattered on high, and that graveth an habitation for himself in a rock. Behold, the Lord will carry thee away with a mighty captivity, and will surely cover thee. He will surely violently turn and toss the like a ball into a large country. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of the the shame of thy Lord's house. And I will drive thee from thy station, and from the state shall he pull thee down. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will call my servants Elohim and the son of Halakiah, and I will clothe him with thy robe, and strengthen him with thy girdle. And I will commit thy government into his hand, and he shall be a father to the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and to the house of Judah. And the key of the house of David will I lay upon his shoulders, so he shall open and none shall shut, and he shall shut and none shall open. And I will fasten him as the nail in a sure place, and he shall be for a glorious throne to his father's house. And they shall hang upon him all the glory of his father's house, the offspring and the issue, all vessels of small quantity from the vessels of cups, even to all the vessels of the flagons. And that day, said the Lord of hosts, shall the nail that is fastened in the sure place be removed, and be cut down and fall, and the burden that was upon it shall be cut off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Alright, so let's go to Jeremiah 44:17. Okay. But we will certainly do whatever thing goeth forth out of our own mouth, to burn incense unto the Queen of Heaven, and to pour out drink offerings unto her, as we have done, we and our fathers, our kings, and our princes in the city of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem. For then had we plenty of victuals, and were well, and saw no evil. But since we left off to burn incense to the Queen of Heaven, and to the pour out drink offerings unto her, we have wanted all things, and have been consumed by the sword and by famine. And when we burnt incense to the Queen of Heaven, and poured out drink offerings unto her, did we make her cakes to worship her, and poured out drink offerings unto her without our men? The Jeremiah said unto all the people, to the men and to the women, and to all the people which had given him that answer, saying, the incense that ye burn in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem, ye and your fathers and your kings and your princes and the people of the land, did not the Lord remember them, and came and not into his mind, so that the Lord could no longer bear because of the evil of your doings, and because of the abomination which ye have committed. Therefore is your land a desolation, and an astonishment, and a curse, without inhabitant at this day. Leviticus 25:22. And ye shall sow the 8th year, and eat yet of old fruit unto the 9th year. Until her fruits come in, ye shall eat of the old store. The land shall not be sold forever, for the land is mine, for ye are strangers and sojourners with me. And in all the land of your possession ye shall grant a redemption for the land. If thy brother be waxen poor, and has sold away some of his possession, and if any of the kin come to redeem it, then shall he redeem that which his brother sold. And if the man have none to redeem it, and himself be able to redeem it, then let him count the years of the sale thereof, and restore the overplus unto the man to whom he sold it, that he may return unto his possession. But if he be not able to restore it to him, then that which is sold shall remain in the hand of him that has bought it unto the year of the Jubilee, and in the Jubilee it shall go out, and he shall return unto his possession. Okay? And Joel chapter 3. And we'll end it here. And I think this is And I'm glad it's on an hour and 24 minutes, so I think I did pretty good, guys, today. So I probably won't have to do the whole 3 hours. It's pretty cool. Joel chapter 3. Judgment for Gentiles. This is, and I'm reading out my 1989 Nelson Edition King James Version. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all the nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, and that they may drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre, or Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye may remove far from the border. Behold, I will rise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hands of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabinians, to a people far off. For the Lord has spoken it. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your prying hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thou mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of the Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, in the valley of decisions, for the day of the Lord is near the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Restoration of Judah. The Lord also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord would be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her any more. And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters. And a fountain shall come forth of the house of the Lord, and shall water the valleys of Shishton. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because thou have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall dwell forever in Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, from the Lord that dwelleth in Zion. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I can end this with Job chapter 29 and 30. I guess I can read that since I named it that anyway. I love y'all so much. Just to give y'all some inspiration, hope, and scriptures. Oh, my bad, it's right here. I always forget it's before Proverbs. Job. Alright, chapter 9, 29, and 30. You know what? I'll do, okay, so I'm going to do Job chapter 41. I think this would be a good one to share. Job chapter 41. God compares the power of Job with that of the Leviathan. Canst thou draw out a Leviathan with an hook, or his tongue with a cord which thou lettest down? Canst thou put an hook into his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn? Will he make many supplications unto thee? Will he speak soft words unto thee? Will he make a covenant with thee? Wilt thou take him for a servant forever? Wilt thou play with him as with a bird? Or wilt thou bind him for thy maidens? Shall the companions make a banquet of him? Shall they part him among the merchants? Cast thou fill his skin with barn irons, or his head with fish spears? Lay thine hand unto him. Remember the battle, do no more. Behold, the hope of him is in vain. Shall not one be cast down, even at the sight of him? None is so fierce that dare stir him up. Who then is able to stand before me? Who has prevented me that I should repay him? Whosoever is under the whole heaven is mine. I will not conceal his parts, nor his power, nor his comely proportion. Who can discover the face of his garment, or who can come to him with a double bridle? Who can open the doors of his face? His teeth are terrible round about. His scales are his pride, shut up together as with a closed seal. One is so near to another that no air can come between them. They are joined one together, they stick together, that they cannot be sundered. By his sneezing a light doeth shine, and his eyes are like the eyelids of the morning. Out of the mouth go burning lamps, and sparks of fire leaped out. Out of his nostril goeth smoke, as out of the seeing pot of the caldron. His breath kindled coals, and a flame goeth out of his mouth. And his neck remaineth strength, and sorrow is turned into joy before him. The flakes of his flesh are joined together. They are firm in themselves. They cannot be moved. His heart is as firm as a stone, yea, as hard as a piece of nether millstone. When he riseth up himself, the mighty are afraid. By reason of breaking, they purify themselves. The sword of him that layeth at him cannot hold, the spear, the dart, nor the habergeon. He esteemed iron as straw, and brass as wooden or rotten wooden. The arrow cannot make him flee. Sling stones are turned with him into stubble. Darts are counted as stubble. He laughed at the shaking of a spear. Sharp stones are under him. He spreadeth sharp pointings things upon the mirror. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot. He maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. He maketh a path to shine after him. One would think the deep to be hurry. Unto earth there is not his like, who is made without fear. He beholdeth all high things. He is keen over all the children of pride. Yeah. So, Job repents for his rebellion. Hear, I beseech thee, and I will speak. I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now my eyes see thee. Wherefore I heard myself, and I repent in dust and ashes. Okay. All right. So that's enough for tonight. I'll put this under my video description. Definitely will. Okay. Well, I enjoyed this segment. I thought it would have been 3 hours. I had a lot of information. But I think it's best to keep it, like I said, if it is a lot of information, I do almost do 3 hours, and lately the past weeks I have. So, but today it just seemed like time is shortened down, and it did not take me 3 hours. So, but it's everything I already wanted to do. And so I apologize for the error, because I started off and I said that I was going to do 3 hours. But as you see, I got done before then. And so, and I don't want to give all the information out or just combine y'all with so much knowledge or different things. So I just like to take my time and be patient. And it helps me because I'm practicing patience and forgiveness more. I hope you all are working on the little small things that y'all deal with daily. And I thank y'all for having my back, for the ones who are supporting and loving. I pray for you, my enemies, the hate, the envy, and all the things that y'all deal with out there. I just apologize. Like I said, if y'all don't understand or you don't, like it, or you don't rules and orders, or you just feel like it's just too much when it's really not. It's really easy. So, I don't know what to say. Like I said, I'm not the one that gives salvation. I am a messenger. I am been given some things, and I just wanted to share with you all. This would be my channel, like I said, going forward, as my now and my manifestations and just fulfilling and just getting better. Those things have passed away. So each moment we speak, it passed. So it's like particle. Past, present, then. So I'm trying to increase more, and I hope my subscribers or those who watch this video, y'all be out there safe, and y'all will learn to increase more spiritually into the world. And I hope that this was encouragement, an edification, and a clarity for anyone out there. So I thank you for tuning in for this session, but it's pretty short than all my other ones. It's been less than 2 hours, so I was doing a lot of thinking, just reflecting this week. So I hope y'all enjoy some of the poems, different things. Maybe in a minute I'm start brushing up a little bit of the video description, getting some of them up, the rest of them up, of all the ones I've done so far on my shy learning segment, new series thing going on, making way for that. So I thank y'all so much for being there with me every step of the way. I just I can't be more thankful. So I'm just gonna be me from this point on, and just continue as I breathe each day. And I will hope that y'all obey the commandments and stop seeking, because I have nothing but love. I'm harmless, and I'm not here to debate or argue about silly things. Okay, so therefore I'll stay silent, and I will come and present my Sabbath lessons and my shy learning segment lessons. So we got 2 for right now that's going, that I can get out within a week. The Diary of a Loving Aboriginal has ended, because once I ended that, I make a new way for a new one. So it's not really like I'm ending it, but that was kind of like my preface to go into my shy out learning segment, and the different things with the pictographic language and learning, and us putting things together. Just making it creative and more fun while we going through this, some different times and changes in atmosphere in the world. So don't let your light burn out. Y'all keep going. Smile, be happy, joyful, sad. Sometimes I am. I feel everything. I can't do nothing. I have too much words to say, but just hope that we make it. So I'm going to sign out at 12:54 a.m. on May the 20th of 2021 on the Gregorian calendar. And this concludes my Sabbath, my weekly Sabbath lesson for you guys. Thank you for watching.